We go. Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see you all again. Thank you for joining us on Kangaroo Connects again. We're here to have a bit of an informal chat, business chat, and I'm pleased to say that we're joined today by Robbie. Nice to see you, Robbie.
Nice to see you, Cale. Thanks for having me on.
No, absolute pleasure. Thank you for wanting to be included. So, tell us about your business, Robbie.
Yep. So I run RJM Digital. So we are a digital marketing agency that works with medium and large size corporates, but also small businesses as well. But we're also developing a specialism in AI.
AI. Well, on my last call, you see, we started going down the rabbit hole of AI, and there was concern that we might never come back. But we'll touch on that, I'm sure, as we go on. It all sounds very good, Robbie, and we've known each other a few years now, and we were just chatting before the recording started about our journeys and how things, trials that I'm going through in business. It all sounds very good, but it's not always been that way, is it? You started off just yourself. How long ago was that now?
Yeah, so I started off by myself, sorry, in 2018, freelancing, developing applications and websites just purely for myself for own individual projects and getting the odd freelancer work where I could. And then it wasn't really until 2020 where I sort of decided to turn into a full blown agency and start hiring people and try to build a business that works without me ultimately.
When you started introducing people, things changed quite dramatically, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's just a completely different challenge when you introduce people. But I've always realised that I'm never the best at what I do, and that there's so many better people out there, especially within marketing and tech or whatever it is. So I think it's just almost accepting that and then hiring really really great people that can enhance or do what you do even better.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? We go into business ourselves because we think we're good, or we're good at something. We've got a certain set of skills. But actually, when you do start introducing other people, you think, "Wow, that's really good." Or for me, it was I started getting lots more feedback about some of the content that we were putting out, and I thought to myself, "Hold on, that's not me." And then it quite
Yeah.
quickly came apparent that bringing different people in with different mindsets and some different ideas. And I know, again, speaking off recording. You're starting to do that at quite a high level in your company now as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so since 2020, when I made the decision to go into build a brand and go into proper agency work, is we've got to 7 people now. So there's a mixture of full-time PAYE people and also subcontractors as well to bring in as and when the demand fluctuates. But yeah, we've got four full-time employees. And we've got a mixture of people, the technicians actually doing the work and creative people, all the way through to an ops manager now and project manager, which for me, not enjoying being process driven all the time has just been a massive game changer for my business. And it's one of those things where every hire that I've made, I wish I had at the very, very start of my business. So yeah, it's exciting times at the moment.
So what does interesting to know, what does bringing someone in under the banner of manager do to you as a business owner? Because you're the manager. So you're giving
Uh,
someone some of the reins, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm the and when I've worked with business coaches or watched YouTube videos, they always say that you need to be the marketeer and the business development manager of your business rather than the operations manager.
Yeah.
And so that's the ops person, Christine, who's been fantastic, has only been with the business for 3 weeks now. But it's just having the confidence in someone that again, as I said before, that you can implement or do stuff way better than what you could, and even implementing things that I would never have dreamed of or had the patience to do. And it's just almost once you accept that you are or what your skills or your strengths are and realize what your weaknesses are and then hiring someone to fill those gaps, that's when it just becomes very easy to relinquish that control or that management of that particular area. And then so you can just focus on doing what I love doing, which is, let's say, being the business development manager and the marketeer of the company.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? So, obviously, whilst you've been in business and the business has been changing, we went through a bit of a shift with COVID and the lockdown. And I know a lot of digital agencies have gone from office based to them being hybrid. What's your mix at the business? Have you got an office or are you all remote working?
Yeah, so we are 100% remote working. So I work in a co-working space, but that's predominantly because of I really struggle to work at home on my own. I need that energy and that surroundings of being with either other business people or just other people to really absorb that energy from them.
Yeah.
Because I'll just get distracted with Sky Sports News or whatever it may be if I'm at home. Whereas if I'm surrounding
Absolutely.
myself by other people who are actually working, then I'll feed off that. But no, we're 100% remote working. So the staff that I've got are all the way up. I've got one member of staff who's based in Scotland in the Isle of Bute, and all the way down to South Africa and over in Pakistan as well. So we've really tapped into
Wow.
all the all areas of the globe, and I think that gives us a real competitive advantage because we've just got access to talent pools anywhere in the world as long as they have a decent internet connection. And I
Yeah.
think that we're able to. It's a massive game changer for us and a huge competitive advantage.
Yeah, I can't do the co-working spaces. I'm too nosy. I end up sitting there watching what everybody else is up to or listening to conversations. And yeah, so I'm actually the other way to you. I prefer quiet
Okay.
room, let me get my stuff done. But yes, having three screens, yeah,
Yeah.
if you dare put Netflix or something on one of them, I see I'm gone. So it's silence or nothing. So obviously everyone's remote, but you move around a bit yourself as well, and traveling to different countries. You live in two different countries, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm originally from Eastbourne. So when I first set up the company, I was really focusing on leveraging my contacts and the people that I knew within Eastbourne. But ultimately, I spend the majority of my time now in Dubai,
Okay.
and I travel back and forth. So I visit the UK at least once, 1 week a month, to see my customers, do networking, visit the team who are based in the UK.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other time is spent in Dubai.
And I guess if you're used to working remotely, it's no, I'm asking the question because I'm intrigued by it. But I guess
Yeah,
to you, it's just one of those things.
yeah, and don't get me wrong. When we are all sat in a room together, not that we've done that together as a collective, the six or seven of us, but when I do actually sit down in the room with my members of staff, it is a lot better. I find it a lot more productive.
Yeah.
I find those side conversations or those conversations when you walk into the tube station or you walk into lunch or what have you. That's where a lot of the ideas and creativity really sparks.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the challenge with remote working or developing over teams is that it can be quite clinical. So it's very much a case of, right, we're talking about this. And I don't know, I think the natural urge is always to try and come off it, whether that's me as an individual or is that the human urge. It'd be interesting to find that out. But it is way better to do it in person. But I think if you have set tasks and you know what you need to get out of the call,
Yeah.
then doing it over Zoom is more than sufficient.
So you've got different time zones, different languages, different cultures,
Yeah.
all good fun, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we spread over at least five time zones. So yeah, everything
Wow.
from Scotland all the way over to Pakistan. So yeah, and obviously I sort of sit in the middle of that, it being in Dubai. But yeah, it's easier to do it at this side of the time zone. If it was say in America and I'm trying to tap into the UK market, then
Yeah.
obviously you're waking up very early or what have you. So that wouldn't be as nice. But this over in Dubai, it's only a 3 hour time zone difference in the summer and a 4 hour time zone difference in the winter. So
Not too bad.
it's manageable. Yeah.
So I remember when before lockdown, I was working, and one or two people were starting to work from home for the day and things. And you need to be able to trust the people that work for you, don't you? I mean, if you're solely remote, you've got to have the right people in the jobs because you need to be able to trust them.
Yeah, definitely. So, one of the things that we ask within the company is that everyone is always available on Teams.
Yeah.
whether it's for an ad hoc call or a message or what have you. So we've all got different groups doing the different line of works that we've got. But yeah, trust is a really, really important element of working remotely. And if you do have any sense of doubt that your staff aren't working as effectively or as efficiently as possible, yes, you can put KPIs in place, and yes, you can put processes. But ultimately, it's about trusting your staff to
Yeah.
do the job. And if that's not there, then you're gonna have challenges.
Makes the recruitment process even harder, I guess, doesn't it? Because you can't see things like that through a CV, and you
Exactly.
have to go with your gut almost, don't you?
Yeah, of course. But I think that's the same in person as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
we've all turned up as individuals, either with our A game on for an interview, and then we walk into the door and go, what the hell is this? And things,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. And that's why I went into business ownership, right? I did that
Yeah,
too many times
absolutely.
to realize that I can't be in employment anymore. So yeah, it's trust and finding the right people is a challenge, whether you're working remotely, operating a remote business, or whether you're operating a location-based business.
Yeah, yeah. Good. All right. Tell us a little bit more about the business and go a little bit deeper for us. What's happening?
Yeah,
You say you've got some new things on with AI.
yeah.
Without taking us too far into that rabbit hole, um, what's going on?
Sure. Okay. So my story is that I graduated from Kingston University as a web developer, and with a touch of geography. So my dissertation naturally was around Google Maps, but that's a different side story. And then I moved into IT sales. Selling software solutions for some startups and all the way to big enterprises as well. But I always had that bug to get back into web development. So when we made the decision in 2016 to locate to Dubai, that's when I started getting back into my web development activities and relearning everything. And that's when I started to sort of dabble in some projects and set up some startups and what have you. And then as I developed into that agency or that freelancer, building some really great websites, building some really great applications, naturally customers wanted to say, right, we've built this website. Now, how can we get customers? How can we help make it into an asset for our business rather than
Yeah.
just be a cost center? So that's when I started learning of things like SEO, PPC, and then to some extent social media advertising as well.
Yeah.
And that's just organically helped grow the business. Now, and it was really great. We've produced really good, solid results for customers, and we've really turned what we do into that asset that helps pay for itself and helps generate revenue for our customers, which is fantastic. But the type of work that we're doing has really been, well, I foresee it being really heavily impacted by AI
Yeah.
within the next 5, certainly within 10 years. So what I've had to do over the last 18 months, 2 years, is understand, right, where are the elements that AI is going to really impact digital marketing agencies, and how can we mitigate that? And then ultimately have to make a decision as to, do we try and fight against AI and say, no, doing the way human-led digital marketing activities is the way forward,
Yeah.
and AI is a load of rubbish, or do we embrace it and engage with it and really advocate it? And being a web developer and a tech person that I am, I've obviously gone down the latter route.
There was I was talking to someone the other day about when websites first came out and when social media first came out, and there was that pushback of, oh, this is new. And then I remember at the time I was selling advertising space, and we were selling some digital offerings, and people were pushing back and saying that's not for me. And it was a case of, look, if you don't jump on
Yeah.
this, it's here anyway. It's a bit like
Mm-hmm.
social media, isn't it? How long have we been
Yeah.
saying, oh, it'll go? Well, it's not. It's not going to go, and AI isn't going to go. It's here now. And if you're not embracing it, you're almost getting a bit. There's a danger that you're going to get left behind, isn't there?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And it's the pace of change and improvement that is the, I want to say, my gut says scary, but it's not. It's just the reality of it. So you referenced the internet. So when it first came out, sort of that early mid-90s, it wasn't really fully embraced until the 2000s. So it was a good decade or so till the technology really matured and it came of age, and we could find the use of it. And that's when publishers had, newspaper publishers really got impacted, and
We
things
were
like
selling
banking
banner. We were selling
services.
banner adverts and
Yeah,
things. I mean, crazy
yeah,
when you think about it now.
exactly. Yeah. So it took quite a long time, relatively relative terms, for it to start, the internet to really start impacting traditional industries. But with AI, that rate of change and improvement, from when ChatGPT 3.5 came out to where it is today with the time of recording the 01 model, that rate of change is probably the same pace as the internet. It took the internet 10 years as AI has developed in 18 months, 2 years. And so you sort of adapt that to sort of like some kind of like Moore's law, where processing power doubles every year or 2 years or whatever it is. AI is going to be even greater than that. So that hockey stick curve of progression and rate of change is just going to be so great that, even in 5 years' time, it's going to be unrecognizable to where it is today.
I think it's amazing what it's achieving. Obviously I'm in the digital world as well, and not
Yeah.
obviously not as much as you, but the other day we were playing around with ChatGPT on my phone. Me and my partner were out. We were just at the cinema. Took a picture, uploaded the picture into ChatGPT,
Mm.
just the picture, no text, no nothing, no brief, no nothing, and it said, "It looks like you're in the cinema. It's important to have time away from work, blah, 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 blah." And we're sitting there going, my God, this is amazing. And it's
Yeah.
just so clever. Anyway, I digress. So one of the things that's happened in our fields is the whole social, AI is going to take your jobs. For social media massively. A friend of mine, copywriter, and assume for you, things like blog writing. It's like, well, I could get ChatGPT to do that for me. Why do I need you? And but really, it's not that simple, is it? They're still going to need professionals like yourselves.
Yes, but not. It won't be long until that goes, and it
No,
depends.
don't say that, Robbie.
You
Don't
know what I mean?
admit
Unfortunately, but that's the reality. That's the
it.
reality. You can hope. So I think where it will, where it won't replace humans is if you're really, really specialist in, say, medical, maybe
Yep,
potentially finance or somewhere like that, where the risk of AI getting it wrong is so great for those industries that they have to still rely on humans.
sure.
And also, you've got to remember is that AI is a very good generalist. It's not particularly great at deep dive specialism unless you really train it into that specialist field. So yeah, like if you are writing blogs generically for a broad range of industries and you yourself aren't that specialist, then people, businesses are going to look at it and go, well, hang on, you're charging this much. The AI, say in 5 years' time, can also do it quicker, more reliably, at a greater scale.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that is going to impact those people. So personally, what I would do if you do want to still do that blog writing or social media posts is really, really hone in onto a specialism,
Mm,
create that expertise, and then ideally create your own AI language model to then help scale it,
yeah.
or you sell that to your customers as a specialist or expert.
Very good advice. It's everywhere now, isn't it? And I think probably for people, they don't realize how everywhere it is. In my field alone, just in social media, people have been saying for the last 6 months, 12 months, oh, you can tell when a post is on Facebook and it's AI.
Yeah,
Well, yes, okay, I can see people's point. But what they've now got to understand is from a business point of view, there are not what am I trying to say? There's not much content on social now that isn't AI.
yeah,
So rather than the flip of, oh, we can tell when someone's using AI, well, now everyone is.
yeah,
I saw a guy, it was on LinkedIn, and I was guilty of it myself in that he'd been for a run. And it was a similar kind of concept, really. I've been on for a morning run, I've started my day positive, all that jazz. But you can just kind of tell.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but it's a case of, I think now, if we're using it as a tool, we're not using it because we're lazy. You're using it because it's actually a very efficient tool to help get a message across or whatever. I think it's amazing, and it's definitely not going anywhere. So it's the route that you're taking for your business now. So what's next for the business, do you think?
Yeah, so for us, so we've I started off obviously as web development, building bespoke websites, applications for our customers. So now we're still doing that, but it's now integrating ChatGPT into their applications or into their
Yep.
websites. So ChatGPT, their API is really powerful. So what we're able to do is if there is a not an AI tool that's publicly available on the market for like $40 a month or whatever it is, then we can say, right, if you want to do X, and this could be anything from scraping planning applications for a bespoke kitchen person, for example, as an example, and then writing personalized letters to each of them to say, right, okay, I saw you've got your application in to have your kitchen extended in London. Send them a personalized letter and say, look, we'd love to speak to you about X, Y, and Z, or what we could do. So it's
Yep.
stuff like that where AI can sort of replace or automate any business development processes or maybe any operational processes in place, and
Yep.
then replace an individual human or make them more efficient at what they do. So that's what we're doing, is basically building bespoke AI led applications or solutions or whatever you want to call it, to help automate or scale businesses further.
Nice. Exciting, I'd imagine, for your business.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where, as I say, like, I see the vision of where AI is going and where it's
Yeah.
where AI is going, and so fully embrace it. And as a business owner myself, I always want to do things cheaper. I always want to do
Yeah.
things quicker, and I always want to do things at a greater scale. Now, the
Yeah.
options I have is either get people to do that, which obviously diminishes the cost effectiveness of it, or I get AI in and it ticks all of those boxes. So where it is appropriate, it can be very transformative to a business if done correctly.
I think it can really make you look so different as a business as well. It can help you look really slick. And for someone like myself, you know, um, not degree educated, things like this, I can turn well, I type an email, let's say, very much how as I speak. So
Yeah.
I now, as a quite regular practice, I will take that email, chuck it into ChatGPT, and say, just clean this up for me. Um,
Yeah.
and and even I'm actually quite then proud of the email that it's putting out. It's smart, and you think, well, that's not me being lazy. That's just me using a tool to better
Yeah.
what I'm providing. So it's very exciting, isn't it? And I think, like I say, AI is here now. It's not going anywhere, and it's just a case of where does it take us in the future. What I do know, though, is it's definitely a conversation in every meeting I go into,
Yeah.
every interview I do or whatever. It always comes up. My last interview was with a photographer, and for her, digital art and things is
Yeah.
AI is a whole new world. Good. All right. Well, look, it's lovely to find out more about what you're doing. Let's have a little bit of fun. I'd like to chuck in a few random questions just to keep you on your toes.
Okay.
When I was growing up, and we're kids, we don't listen to the radio. Why would we listen to the radio? And I got introduced to Five Live, which was the radio commentary
Yeah.
station at the time, and they used to do a quiz on a Saturday that I used to. It's random now I think about it, but it's quite relevant. If you were having a sausage sandwich, would you have red sauce, brown sauce, or no sauce at all? I mean, how about that?
It's
How
got to be
random.
ketchup all day, I'll have to say. Ketchup.
Ketchup. And
Ketchup.
if we flipped it to bacon, would you mix that up, or is it just sausage and ketchup?
No, sausage and ketchup. That's it. Well,
Yeah.
I don't wrong. I don't mind a bit of bacon. Obviously, it's a lot more difficult over in Dubai to get that stuff. But when I came back, I
Right.
definitely gorged on
Fair, fair point. Yeah.
that.
Well done. Well done. Another one I heard on the radio the other day was asking about someone's favourite flavour of crisps, and I thought, do you know what? That's odd because I probably do have a favourite when I go into the garage. Fill up the tank, pack of the crisp, bottle of Lucozade. What's your go-to?
I'm a bit left field. I love prawn cocktail.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. I know it's proper. I know most people say like sort of vinegar or whatever, but
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
prawn cocktail is the one for me,
And
100%.
I'd imagine that's got to be Walkers then, hasn't it? You've got to go for
Yeah,
the good ones. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I don't mind the McCoys. I don't mind the
Oh, okay.
the beef one or whatever it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
prawn cocktail is the go-to.
All right, good. And then the final one, which I think is always a really interesting conversation to have, is if you have people around your dinner table, three people, dead or alive, who would you choose to have around your dinner table?
So I obviously in tech, I'm going to go a little bit boring, but it's genuinely what I
Ah,
love. So I'm going to go Bill Gates.
okay,
Okay. I would say Alan Turing.
okay,
Okay. Just
yeah.
because obviously founder of tech and all the rest of it. And then I'm also a massive Blackburn Rovers fan. So I started supporting them in the early 90s,
Oh, it's going to
94,
be Kenny
95.
Dalglish or Alan Shearer.
Well, no, it would be actually Jack Walker. So
Oh, okay.
he was the guy that basically I've always said, if I ever become multiple, you have to be a billionaire now and probably have to run an oil state country now to own a football club. But yeah, one day I would love to own a football club. And obviously Jack Walker bought Blackburn, gave all his basically spent all his money to win the Premier League, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they're my boyhood club. And so yeah, I'd love to have those three round the table.
Nice. I love that. I think it's always interesting to think about, the conversations that might come up, and it'd be
Yeah.
nice to get a bit of foresight knowledge of what's coming up in the tech world before the rest of the world know, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like the dynamic of Bill Gates, who's obviously in it and he's a great visionary of the tech space, and obviously Alan Turing, who's one of the founders of it. So yeah, I think it'd be a great insight for those two to have that conversation together.
And
And
no
then
Elon Musk.
that no,
Yeah. No.
yeah, no. Don't get me wrong, obviously, I'll definitely have his bank account, absolutely. But I don't know. I think he would just get high on weed, wouldn't he, and be be boring to chat to after dinner.
Have a little nap.
Exactly.
Good stuff. Look, Robbie, thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed, and really, please come on again in a couple of months' time for us, because I think with your journey, especially the way that you're embracing AI into your business now, I think it'd be really good to find out what's going on, and what changes you're making in the business. So yeah, thanks very much for joining us. I'll put your details on the attached to this video so people can follow your pages and stuff, and follow what you're up to.
Great. Thanks, Cal. Thanks for having
No,
me
you're
on.
welcome. Thanks very much. Right, everyone, thanks for joining us, and hope to see you all again very soon. Stay tuned, like and subscribe, and all that jazz. Yeah, yeah, thanks very
All
much. All that jazz.
that.